What's up, everyone? It's Sunday, December 10th, 2023, MMAOB Daily Podcast. I am your host, as always, Adam Martin. My co-host, Big Marcel, here to recap UFC Vegas 83 on the first part of the podcast, and then we'll preview UFC 296, which is awesome. Yeah, Marcel, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. A little bit tired, didn't sleep too much last night, but yeah, doing well. Watched some fights. Wasn't the amazing card, wasn't a bad card. It was just like, okay, How about you?
Doing fine. I thought the card was decent. We actually had 6 finishes out of 11 fights, so that's not bad. I just think the main event was kind of a snoozer. It wasn't a great fight, right? So I think that kind of takes the card down a couple points, probably.
It was like you after 2 rounds, you pretty much knew who was going to win, so.
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't a great fight, but yeah. So, anyways, we're going to recap UFC Vegas 83, first part of the podcast. I guess we'll recap the PFL card as well. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, but we can recap that because I think you did check it out. And then, no?
Just a few highlights, but nothing. I wasn't able to catch it live, unfortunately.
Fair enough. And then, like I said, the second part of the podcast, we'll do the UFC 296 preview. All right. Yeah. So let's get into UFC Vegas 83. Like Marcel said, I think the card's a little better than he's thinking, but yeah, I think the main event was kind of a snoozer. That being said, Song Yadong won the fight clearly. It's interesting though. I'm looking at the stats right now. Chris Gutierrez actually had more significant strikes landed, but he lost every round too, which is kind of funny. Song actually had 11 minutes of control time in this fight, and he landed, I think, the harder shots with the punches. Like Chris Gutierrez landed a lot of kicks. I'm looking at like the breakdown. Gutierrez landed 76 leg kicks, so that's a lot of kicks, but again, just there wasn't a lot of power behind them. And obviously, Song had, some really good punches on the feet. And I think judges value head strikes more than leg strikes. I think that's always been the case. So I honestly thought he won every round too. I don't think Gutierrez won the round. I don't know about that 10-8 round, the 5th round, but looking at the stats, maybe Sal D'Amato wasn't wrong because it was 17-1 in strikes and 4.5 minutes of control time. So maybe that wasn't a horrible 10-8. I just thought it was all 10-9s for Song. Again, great win for him. He's a beast, but I didn't like this fight that much, man. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it was just 5 times 10-9. It just wasn't a great fight, in my opinion, And what's also bothered me is that it started so late, Why did they start so late with this card? I don't know, were there on other sport events before it? I have no idea. But, Song was like, I felt Song was fighting very cocky, to be really honest, He acted like he was the big guy in there, which he was. Okay, he was, But I felt like he was like, I'm getting Gutierrez. He's ranked behind me almost 7 places, I don't really care, I'll win this fight, but I don't really care. That's how I felt about the fight, and it dragged on. Wasn't my favorite. Won't be my favorite main event. I think Gutierrez is a fun fighter, and Song is as well. Don't get me wrong. And I thought Gutierrez had kind of a weird game plan, man. With at a certain moment when Montoya told him you have to go for broke in the 5th round, and then he does that Imanari roll or whatever he tried to do. I don't know what. Yeah, no. Immediately the round was over because Song controlled him. So I don't know. It wasn't a great fight. It was a good win for Song, but doesn't do shit for him, to be really honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he looked very good in this fight at all, Chris Gutierrez. It was probably his worst performance in the UFC, I would imagine. Even the Munoz fight, that was pretty bad too, but this was just not good at all. So yeah, disappointed by him because I think Paul Felder was saying, come on, man, time to pull the trigger. He just wasn't able to do it. I don't know what's going on with him. It's almost like he fights his own battle in his head, I feel like sometimes. But he's still a pretty good fighter, but he's more of a gatekeeper of the top 15-10 rather than an elite guy like Song. The thing about Song's only 26, right? I think he'll fight for the belt in the next couple of years. Wouldn't you'd imagine so, right?
That's possible, listen, man. Before the Ricky Simone fight, I thought he was kind of overrated. Then I see him fighting Simone, and I got more convinced. And then I'm seeing fighting Gutierrez last night, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, So he's pretty good. But if he is really elite, we have to see in the upcoming fights, because I mean, we saw him against Sandhagen. He did very well in the first round, but after that, not really, I think. And he got that damaged eye and it got stopped. But I think he's a decent fighter, but I'm not convinced that he is like top 5 material. But we'll see. Maybe he is.
Fair enough. Let's get some comments here. Craig, what's up, brother? How you doing? Antoine, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, we're going to do UFC 296 after. Marcel wanted to do it this morning instead of Monday. What was the reason? You had something to do tomorrow?
I'm pretty busy tomorrow, man. But listen, if we did tomorrow, it's also no problem. But I prefer to do it today, you know. But,
no worries. We'll get out of the way. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I did want to sleep in, but it's okay. I woke my lazy ass up and we're doing the podcast, so it's not that bad. Okay, I think we're good with the main event. Co-main event. Khalil Rountree. Again, I don't know why you picked Anthony Smith, dude. The guy is just taking way too much damage, brother. Like, he really has, you know? Khalil's a beast, man. He's on a roll right now, Marcel. 5 straight wins, 4 by knockout. He won the bonus. Scary guy. Like, he could have easily just destroyed Anthony Smith with, like, hammer fist and ground and pound at the end, but chose not to. Mark Smith stopped the fight. Bonus winning performance for Rountree. Calls out Alex Pereira. He's not getting that fight, but I think, like, he's going to get a big fight. Like, I don't know what happened to Blachowicz. I know he's injured or something, but maybe that could be the fight. Something like that. Nikita Krylov, that could be the fight. I don't know, man. I think this is a big win for him. Like, despite, again, I don't think Smith's, like, really that great anymore. I think he's kind of, you know, taking a lot of damage, but he still was ranked top 10. So this is a big win for the guy, man. There's no doubt about it. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still not on the Khalil Rountree bandwagon as you are, to be really honest. He had a great win, indeed. Yeah, Smith. I think Smith made it competitive the first round, but you saw Khalil's punches were way more impactful than Smith's were, you know. So he was clearly winning. He was 2018 before the third round, and third round he finished it quickly. He had Smith already on wobbly legs in the second round. Man, the thing is with Khalil, man, I think against every decent ground fighter he loses. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how I feel about Khalil. I think Khalil is spectacular when he can get this game in and can strike. I don't just see him as a top fighter, man, and that's why I didn't pick him against Smith, because I thought that Smith would be smart and take him to the ground, you know. And he only tried once, I think, and he was already wobbled when he tried. You know, he tried to strike with him, and that. Listen, if I knew Smith was going to strike with him, I wouldn't have picked Smith. You know what I mean? But I said it last week as well that I thought that Smith was going to grapple with him. But yeah, Khalil did well. He's on a 5-fight win streak. I just still don't feel it, man. For some reason, it's no hate against Khalil, because I think he's a good fighter and a good guy. But I don't know, man. I think he has some flaws in his game, but when he can implement his game, he's great. You know what I mean? But I feel like against the more smarter and the more fitter guys, you know, right now, because like you said, Anthony Smith is already a little bit older. I still think he can do decent against a lot of people in the division, but he's getting older, you know, and he's maybe a little bit of, how do you say that? He's declining a little bit, you know. But yeah, for example, if you put Rountree against Krylov, I'm taking Krylov, you know what I mean? If you put Rountree against Rakic, I'm taking Rakic. So I don't see him as a big threat. And the Pereira call out, yeah, I mean, it's funny. He did that like the fans want to see it. I'm probably not a fan because I don't care about that fight, to be really honest. But
Yeah.
hey, I mean, shoot your shot. You never know. You know, the
Sure.
UFC does weirder things before. So I mean,
I mean, why not, right? But he's not getting that fight. Like, let's be honest. He needs to win one more. He does have five fight win streak. I did think he lost to Justin Jacoby, but
yeah, me too. You saw Jacoby's tweet?
Saw that. He thought he won, right, Jacoby?
Yeah, I won all 3 rounds. He said.
Well, I thought he won
captions.
1, but yeah. But regardless, I mean, since then he's won 2 straight fights by knockout. We'll see who they match up with next. Let's get some comments. Ray, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Do you guys think Smith just fights up and comes down, or maybe retire? I think he should retire. I mean, he's at the job with the UFC. Why is he still taking damage? I guess he enjoys it, but like he enjoys fighting, I should say. But I don't know, Marcel. I don't think he needs it anymore, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, the thing is, like, I don't know his financial situation, you know, but I feel like if you work for the UFC on the desk, they probably pay you well as well. You know what I mean? So I would be shocked if they don't. So yeah, I don't know. Listen, man, we don't know what going in fighters' heads. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because we will listen. That's the same with Tony Ferguson, man. I mean, we're also like, yeah, should he still competing? We don't know, you know. But there are those fighters, those want to compete. Can't say to them like you have to retire, although sometimes we feel like it's better if they retire. We'll see, man. We'll see. He has more options.
Sure does. Okay, so next fight. Nasrat Hakparas gets a bonus for knocking over Jamie Mullarkey. I mean, wow, he looked amazing. What a finish, eh? Brutal finish, like 50-punch combo finishes Jamie Mullarkey, who doesn't have a great chin. And I thought Hakparas would win this fight for sure, but I thought decision again, because that's kind of what he does. But man, gets the knockout. First knockout in 4 years. What'd you think, man?
Yeah. Well, doesn't have a great chin. I mean, a lot of people would be flat knockout by those punches, and he was like a mummy. You know what I mean? Yeah, good stoppage by the ref, by the way, because it was over. You know, it was a good performance by Nasrat. You know, I'm happy for him. I mean, he got a lot of shit over him after he lost to Drew Dober, that knockout. You know, and his loss to Bobby Green, and he's right, man. Almost all of his losses are against guys who are now ranked in the top 15. You know. I always thought he was pretty talented, you know, but he was still very young when he came in the UFC. I remember when he came in the UFC, there was a lot of comments from people like he has only one win over a guy who has a winnable record. All the others have negative records. And then I think he fought in his debut, he fought Marcin Held. And he did pretty well, I think. You know, it was a close fight. Held won the fight, I think it was in Poland. But he did pretty well. But I always thought he had something, you know, and I'm happy for him. I think he's a talented guy. He can still come far in the division. And yeah, man, I mean, give him somebody around the top 20, top 15. They don't have to give him top 15 yet, but around the top 20, I think, between the 15-20 range. I'd like to see him fight, you know, and yeah, I think he's a decent fighter, and I think he's still like improving. You know, he's also still young. So
yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, he looked really good. It's funny, we used to call him Mini Calvin Gastelum. Almost like Calvin Gastelum's a fatter version of him now. He's just a better fighter at this point. I know they're different weight classes, but get some comments. Zach, what's up, brother? Obviously, won't pay like a fight, but CM Punk back in wrestling. See if FC should look bringing Smith to get some commentating. He should. He'd be good at it, man. He's definitely like a smart mind. I think we all know that. You guys get a chance to try to watch back the BYM reactions of Bisping and Bruce. Like I say, he's worried the moment is announced. Yeah, I mean, it was just I didn't like the matchup for him, but what's short notice and go ahead.
I don't know what he means with
Believe You Me podcast.
I have no idea.
Bisping's podcast, the one he does with Smith.
He was worried about the fight for Smith was announced.
You didn't like the fight for Smith, I guess.
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay.
Tim Elliott, short notice. We didn't talk about this fight because that was booked, I think, like Tuesday or Wednesday. But he comes in on short notice.
As always.
As always. It always happens Monday night, and then they get announced the next day. But anyways, I thought Elliott, like as soon as I saw the fight was announced, I was like, man, I like him here because Sue Madarji has like the worst ground game in the division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just terrible, you know. Anyways, Elliott gets him to the ground, submits him, chokes him out, gets a bonus too. Well deserved for Tim Elliott. You got to feel good for this guy. His first submission win in 6 years. So good, man. 6 years since his last finish. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, Tim Elliott's one of those guys. Like he's always game. He's always tough, and he gets the win here, Marcel. So what did you think?
Yeah. By the way, Antoine, you're good, man. I mean, I mean, Adam knew what you meant, so it's probably on me. Yeah, Elliott. I mean, how can you not love a guy like Tim Elliott? You know what I mean? He comes in on 3 or 4 days, 4 or 5 days notice. I don't know. Takes the fight. It was at bantamweight, and it was a winnable fight for him. You know, I think it was smart he took that fight because, like you said, I was the same way when I saw he took the fight. I was like, damn, this is a good fight for him. And by the way, I also was picking Nascimento against Sumudaerji. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Elliott. Good win. He also did look pretty good against Mokaev the last time out. I think he was leading 2018 going into the third round. I think a lot of people had it 1-1, but he was on two judges' scorecards 2-0 up. Yeah. He said after the fight, like he probably doesn't go for a championship run anymore. But and Felder was like, yeah, but what? How do you say that? With if you do it like this, why not? You know, and. I don't think he will be champion or anything, you know, but he's still a pretty decent guy in the division, and he can beat a lot of these guys who are like into the top 8, top 15 range over there, you know. I think so, or make it competitive at least. Yeah, good win for him, man. On short notice, happy for the guy after kind of a brutal year and a personal
Was that this year or last year? I can't remember anymore.
Or last year, I don't know.
I don't pay attention enough, but yeah, I was gonna say, like, man, you're right. But do you think Sue's gonna get cut? Do you think he gets released?
I don't know. The thing is, he doesn't fight too often, and I think he was injured for a long time, and he didn't fight for 1.5 years. Before that, he had that Snell fight of the night, so they probably give him one more, But he got to win the next one.
Yeah, you're right. That fight was really good. The fight with Maxwell, but he did lose too, right? So that's the problem. Next fight here, opening up the card. Actually, this is a good fight to talk about. It was a bad fight, but just curious because it's an interesting fight to score. Andre Muniz defeats Jungyeon Park, the Iron Turtle, by split decision. We're big Iron Turtle fans here on the podcast, Marcel. We both love the guy, but I'll be honest. I thought Muniz edged very, very barely. It was a close fight. I mean, it really could have went either way. I wouldn't have been surprised either way. Here's the thing. So yes, I do agree with people, and I mean, really, it should be damage over control. I get that, but the thing is, like, it was only 27-14 in significant strikes. That's not that big of a difference. If it was like 50-14 or 100-14, then it's like, yeah, wrong decision. But 27-14, I know it's like double, but it's not that many strikes. It's just not a lot of strikes landed by either guy. And then almost 10 minutes of control time for Andre Muniz. I saw your tweet, and he also had 11 takedowns. Here's the thing that people are forgetting. Like, if you look at the criteria, it's effective striking and effective grappling. Then it's aggression, octagon control. That octagon control is different than this type of control, where I think it's effective grappling. I think it was mostly a grappling match. He was mostly the guy that had the back position, mostly the guy that was on top. That's why I scored it for him very, very barely. It was so close, though. Like, I wouldn't have either way. Would have been fine to me, because again, Park did land more strikes, so I get that. But I just think that the more effective grappler was Muniz, and it's MMA. This isn't just kickboxing; it's MMA. And I think that's why I edged it to him. I don't agree with the one judge who gave the first round to Muniz. I think Park won the first, but I had Muniz winning the second clearly. That was an easy one to score. Came down to the third for me, and it was 8-2 in strikes, and the control time was basically the same. I get that. It just felt like Muniz was the more effective grappler that round. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, Marcel, what happened?
No idea.
Did you hear what I was saying, though? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you hear
go
me?
ahead. Score the fight. Go ahead.
I scored it for I scored it for Muniz, 29-28. I think if there's not like people are like, yeah, you got to go with damage. Was there really damage? Let's be really honest. Was that enough to how do you say that, to do
swing around maybe
control against what Muniz did? I don't think so, And I gave it 2-1 to Muniz. I know a lot of people think Park won, but for me, it's like, listen, man, if you control a fight for 4 minutes, 30 seconds, it shouldn't be like given to the other fighter when he lands like 10 strikes. You know what I mean? And it's not like super significant.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, it's just not. It wasn't that good of a fight that I care that much. You know what I mean? So, get to our comments here. Worth it? Yeah. No, this was a fight that passed on for sure. October updates. What's up, brother? You didn't miss much. We just talked about the first couple of fights. What's up, Paul? How's it going, brother? Glad to have you here, mate. Hey, George. Yeah, I agree with George too. That was bizarre. Park lost all three. I think he won the first because he did do a lot of damage at the end of the first round. That's why I swung it to him. But yeah, I mean, I thought Muniz won the fight. Like, really, like, I think people are salty because they bet on Park and they expected him to win, and he lost. Again, it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. I do think the judges did get it right this time, but it's just not a fight I want to talk about anymore. Let's go to the prelims here. Kevin Jusay defeats Song Kinon by unanimous decision. Man, he looked good, right? I thought he looked really good, this guy. Super technical striking, brother. Like, I thought he looked pretty good. What do you think, man?
I think he looked really good as well, It was like he won all 3 rounds, and the third round was the most convincing one, I think. He looked really good. I thought it would have been a lot more of a close fight, But, I mean, Song Kinon, for some reason, man, I felt like by every strike he got touched, he got more damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And didn't even look like hard strike. It was just like accurate and good.
Super
you know
technical,
what I mean?
super technical. Yeah.
Beautiful performance by Kevin Chusey. So
Dude, it's like breakthrough performance, I think, for this guy, because a lot of people thought, hey, Song Kadon's a decent fighter. He has a winning record in the UFC. He's a guy that beat Rolando Bedoya. That guy's a good prospect, right? That was a big win for him. And then
a very good win.
Yeah, he also dropped Ian Gary earlier this year. That was this year. A guy that trains at Killcliff, a guy that's been in the UFC for a while. He was a trendy underdog pick this week. And I thought, you know what? He showed up in amazing shape. I was watching the weigh-ins. I'm like, damn, this guy is fucking jacked. But again, it's not a bodybuilding competition. It's an MMA fight. And Kevin Jusey, super technical striking. And like George is saying here, all that training he does with Izzy and all those guys that like kickboxing have really paid off. He looked phenomenal. Yeah, you can see why they liked this guy, because there was a lot of hype on him, right? Making his debut against Kiefer Crosby. There was quite a bit of hype. For a guy who's been in the UFC for 4 months now, he got 2 wins. So I thought he looked good. Reg's still talking about the news fight. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. No, I agree. Crosby actually looked better in that fight than Song did in this one. The thing is, Crosby's one of those first round or bust fighters, right? So he always has a good first round. Whereas Song Kadon's more of a 15-minute guy, and that's why I like you say by decision here. He did kind of look like a poor man Strickland. Like I thought so too. With the jab. I got to get rid of this dude. I don't know what this guy's issue is. Kind of weird, right? See the comments? I don't know what's going on with that guy, man. It's fucking 10 a.m. on Sunday. This guy's talking about getting BJs from someone. I mean, we could always use a BJ, but come on, man.
It's never in the chat before.
Never. I was gonna say it's never too early for one, but yeah. All right, let's go back to the card. Kyung Sung Park defeats Shannon Ross. Shannon Ross is just terrible. Why is this guy in the UFC, Marcel?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think they liked him from the Contender Series when he fought Salvador, and he was in the hospital, I think, after that. So I think they liked his performance. They gave him a contract, but he didn't learn the Onagi way. So unfortunately, Park was just a better fighter, man. Overall, you saw from the beginning that he was like. His distance management was good. His stand-up was much better, and even his ground game was good. In the first round. So Ross got hit, and I think in the was it in the liver actually?
Yeah,
I never can tell. I'm really bad in human. How do you say that? Where the liver is the right or the left side? I have no idea. Yeah. I always fuck up with that. So it was in the stomach. I know that for sure. And he almost crippled when it happened already, And then Park, Peace of Mind, which is his nickname, he saw it and he went for it and he finished it. So good for him, man. They said it's the first win in the UFC. I
know they're not counting those fights for some reason.
It's just annoying, Then don't put it on the card,
They said something about Jubilee. Remember they're like, oh, this is his first UFC fight. It was kind of bizarre. Yeah. I don't get that because I'm even looking at that card right now, and those fights were like. There was like Tyra and like Dennis Tululin fought before those guys. That doesn't make any sense what they're saying then. So yeah,
I agree.
I'm with you. Anyways, the liver's on the right side, obviously. That's why those like Luke Rockhold, he always had that left body kick. Remember, I think he knocked out, was it Costa? Didn't he kick him in the liver? Remember that guy, Costa Philippou? Not Paulo Costa, Costa Philippou, yeah.
The Cypriot guy of what?
I got to meet him once actually. He was a cool dude. I met him once. He was supposed to fight Nick Rain in Montreal on the GSP Condit card, and he didn't end up fighting him. And I was in the crowd, and I saw him, and I went up to him and just said hi, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" So he was just sitting there with his wife. So I liked watching that guy. He was a man. He could punch, eh? That guy definitely punch.
He pretty much disappeared out of nowhere, right? He was like
he did. James Lynch interviewed him I want to say 5 years ago, and unfortunately that interview's gone. I think it was on the Score that one website that he worked for. I think they got rid of it. I think I could be wrong, but I know he interviewed him and he was doing some other stuff. But yeah, he was a cool dude. Shannon Ross has got one of the worst chins in the UFC. I mean, it's got maybe the worst. I mean, if you look at it's so bad to look at his Tapology. It's like 4 straight knockout losses, Marcel. It's so bad. And even if you go back even farther, the Usyk fight in that promotion in Australia, what is it, Eternal MMA? He's lost 5 of 6, so it's just not good. There's no chance in hell this guy gets another fight, unless again they want to build up one of these guys from Road to UFC. Maybe Jubilee's a different weight class, I was going to say, but yeah, so Jubilee could probably use a layup like this dude. And if Jubilee gets knocked up by Ross, then that guy's just terrible. But yeah. Mean Machine, Steve Garcia pulls off the upset over the clown, Melquizo Acosta. That was just, as soon as he started walking out with this terrible music, I was like, this guy is fucked. He's gonna lose his fight. And I saw Noah King tweet about it. It's like some TV show about some guy with the Vitiglio. So I get that. I understand it now, but like, bro,
I haven't
he's
seen the
walking
walkout.
around like this. I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like,
I haven't seen the walkout. I was typing about the other fight, so I'll watch it back.
So bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think he started well, man, in the first round. He was trying to get him to the ground, and he looked pretty good. Second round, Garcia turned him around when he was on the ground, and he went for the vicious ground and pound. Then he tried to choke him, and then I was like, yeah, I can't choke him. Let the ground and pound a little bit more. And then Costa was like, yeah, let's take him down. But he was already trying to take down Toyoni instead of Garcia because Garcia won. Yeah, good win for Garcia, man. What can you say? I didn't expect it. I thought Costa was going to win. I think we both picked Costa to win the fight. But yeah, good win for Garcia. I'm happy for him, man.
For sure. And he didn't get a bonus. I thought, you know what? Because it's like almost Christmas. And there was only 6 finishes. They could have given an extra 2 bonuses, right? Don't you guys think? Like, I think they should have. Him and Tyler didn't get a bonus. We'll talk about him in a minute. I can't believe that. Yeah, Garcia should have won, and he's good. The little bunch of
cheapskates, right?
yeah, for sure. It's actually funny though. Like there was the 2 park guys on the card, and like people were like, "Yeah, I'm making sure I'm talking about this park, not the other one." Anyways, yeah, Garcia though he looked good, but I'm telling you, watch that walkout. It was weird, man. Like he showed up looking like a clown. He kind of fought like one too. Like I like Costa too because that last performance was incredible. But brother, I don't know what the hell this was. This was just terrible. Alrighty, your girl Luana Santos gets the win over Stephanie Egger. Terrible fight. Just a fucking awful fight. Like I hated this fight so much. Just like a lot of fence pushing. Did a little bit more damage, a couple more takedowns, but I hated this fight so much. What did you think, man?
Yeah, I picked Stephanie Egger, right? I feel like Santos was like she just pressured her against the cage, and Egger couldn't get away for some reason. Was a horrible fight to watch.
Terrible.
And I mean, I think she called out Misha Tate afterwards, likes Luana Santos, right? I mean, she ain't gonna get that fight, But I mean, and also she should go back to 125. I know she'd miss weight at 135, but she's a 125 and not a 135er, Egger also wants to fight at 125 next, so let's see what happens there. But what's the worst fight on the card, pretty much? And I think I said it in the Discord chat at James. I hope they give it a draw because they let us watch this for 15 minutes. They don't deserve to win here. So
yeah, this fight was just fucking terrible.
Was, by the way, the right winner. Don't get me wrong, but
I thought so too. I mean, Reg thinks a lot of people thought Egger won. I saw a lot of tweets about it. I thought Egger won the 3rd round. I think she definitely won the 3rd round. I don't. Who's the judge? Jacob Montalvo. His scorecards have been so shit lately.
They're always.
He's a better ref than a judge. Right.
And, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, people really like. I feel like as of lately, it's really like, oh, I see one fighter landing 5 strikes, and I see the other fighter grapple a lot. Oh, I give the round to the fighter with 5 strikes. It annoys me, man. I mean, we're not kickboxing, guys. We're not boxing. We're MMA.
Yeah, you still have to include that. But again, this fight, this one, like, I think the grappling was not as effective as Muniz. I mean, that's proven by 11 takedowns from Muniz compared to just 2 for Santos, despite all the fence pushing. Another guy got robbed of a bonus, Tetsuo Taira. He knocks out Carlos Hernandez. I thought this was his best performance to date in the UFC. I think he looked amazing in this fight. 5-0 now, 15-0 in his career. This kid's going to fight for the belt next couple of years. 100%. 100%.
The funny thing is, I had the feeling like he could submit him, but he wanted to have that knockout finish or the TKO finish, because he had all the moment to get this rear naked choke in the second round when he had him tagged. But he kept punching. He was like, I will get my first TKO finish here. And he got it. Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. But they really have to give him a step up now, 5-0 in the UFC. He hasn't fought a ranked fighter yet. Give him a ranked fighter. I don't know. I don't give a fuck who they give him, but give him a ranked fighter. He's a fun fighter to watch. I put the guy on the fucking main card, man. What's up with that? Why do they hide him on the prelims? Because people are like, yeah, maybe it's more convenient in Japan. It's not more convenient in Japan, man. I think it was in Japan. It was like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning, man, when he fought. So, Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this guy's got to be in a main card though soon. I think he deserves it. I understand the time difference thing, but like, come on, this guy's legit.
Of course.
He's got to fight someone in the top 15 now too. He's been fighting all these unranked dudes. It's honestly kind of weird the way his career's gone in the UFC. It's like it's just like this. Like he's got to fight someone better. I know Hernandez had a really nice win in his last fight. He looked really good, but I honestly feel like CJ Vergara was the best guy he's fought so far, and that was his second UFC fight over a year ago. That's what I think.
Although Gutierrez gave him a good round,
He did give him a really good fight, but I'm just saying, like overall, I think the best fighter he's fought is Vergara. Personally, Vergara's record in the UFC is 3-2. Yeah. I think he's the only guy he's fought with a winning record in the UFC. Yeah, he's the only guy he's fought with a winning record. So, all right, and then opening the card up.
Check the questions about this.
All right, sorry guys. Tyra's really good. Who should he fight next? Hey, Marcus. My guy Marcus, glad you're here. I sent him the link this morning. He wanted to come here. Antoine, I know he called it from Makayev. Makayev's fighting Alex Perez, but that fight's probably not going to happen because your boy Alex Perez pulls out of every fight, dude. I mean, let's be honest.
Sorry?
Your boy Alex Perez? He pulls out of every single fight.
I mean, there are reasons why he pulls out, so...
Yeah. I think if he pulls out of this one, they're going to cut him. I think this is his last chance, personally. But
believe me, he doesn't want to pull out. He really doesn't.
Who does? I'm just looking at the rankings. I mean, David Dvorak's wasn't he supposed to fight David Dvorak? Was that the fight originally, or am I
yeah, but by the way, Octagon updates get him versus Sue. Do that fight, man. Why not? Give him some Mudaerji.
Oh, Sue's actually ranked. I forgot Sue's ranked number 11. That's wild. I feel like he shouldn't be. I don't think he deserves to be ranked that high. I think someone in that range, though. I mean, Tim Elliott's on this card too, but I think Tim Elliott's kind of a tough fight for anyone really. That grappling. I would say Dvorak or maybe Sue. Urseg, probably not him. You could do like loser of Ulanbekov Durden as well. I have a lean for that fight. That fight's coming up this weekend. I'll talk.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think the winner of the loser of that fight is not going to be ranked anymore. They should give him the winner then. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right, Tatsura's first UFC KO. Bust up Carlson. Yeah, he should have got a bonus. He looked amazing. I mean, again, guys, like they gave out 10 bonuses last week. It's kind of not fair. Like it depends what card you're on. If Dana's there, if he likes the card, he'll give you more money. Like it's kind of not fair. And I understand life's not fair, right? Life's not fair, Marcel. We know that.
Life's not fair.
Not fair. But like these guys should have got bonuses. There's just 2 extra ones, and Christmas is coming up. There's only 2 cards left. Dana's wiping his ass with the $100 bills right now. So come on, he could have fucking gave him an extra $50K bonus. And I don't blame him, by the way. If I was rich as fuck, I'd wipe my ass with the $100 bills too. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably actually, not. Because
it would cost you like $1 million with you, man. So,
bro, I don't live in the US, so we don't have dollars. So
yeah, that's true. All right, who's your favorite team? Jake Hadley, Tyra, no question. Jake Hadley's a guy's like borderline UFC right now. I think he can't barely make 125. That's why I think Dvorak is a little more solid. I think than Sue. Sue is just so one-dimensional, man. I don't really know why is Sue ranked number 11 anyways. Like who did he beat to get to?
I want to hear Dirty Rack. He's like he did. What do you want with Sue then? Do you want him on the rankings?
Dude, why I don't understand why he's ranked number 11 because he beat Zaruk Adashev, who's not in the UFC, Malcolm Gordon, who's loser leaves town fight in Toronto, and Andre Sukov talking about the UFC. Why is he ranked 11? That doesn't actually make sense to me at all.
I think he got ranked in the top 15 at the moment when there weren't as much as flyweights. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think there were like 15 flyweights or something, or maybe 17. Yeah, exactly.
I agree with Anton too. That's the other guy I was looking at, Matt Schnell. I think Matt Schnell, is a gatekeeper. I think he's very beatable. He doesn't have a very good chin. Actually, that'd be a really good fight because I think that Tyra could knock Matt Schnell out, and that would get him, the upper echelon guys. But I'm not sure because again, they got these two. They have 2 prospects right now, 125, right, Marcel? They got Makayev and they got Tyra. Either of these guys will fight for the belt too. Maybe both of them will fight one day for the belt. What are you gonna say?
I think Schnell is booked for Saudi Arabia. I got like 2. I don't know. I got 2 or 3 messages from people. They said like, "Yeah, Matt Schnell is booked against Saudi Arabia. Do you think it's against Mokaev?" But I knew at that moment already that Mokaev was fighting Perez.
You know what? It's probably like Steve Urseg. Maybe could it be him?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They're rebooking that fight. Maybe. Yeah.
Probably Urseg. And the UFC likes Urseg, so they could do that fight. Tyra would be more Marco if you learned English. I mean, anyone would be, right? Like, remember back in the our boy James Lynch, he kept saying like, if Jose Aldo just learned English, like he'd be so much better, like more marketable. Not better. He was always a great fighter, but more marketable. Because I remember that video of him when he tried on that suit and he's like, "Wee!" Remember that one, the famous video? You know, you always wondered like if he had, again had been like Anderson Silva and really learned English, because I think that's what really like catapulted Anderson Silva to the next level, because he did learn. It was funny too, but just because you get more fans from different parts of the world, right? But again, you don't. At the end of the day, it's fighting, so you don't need to speak, that language.
Personally, I don't give a fuck if somebody speaks a certain language, you know, but there are a lot of fans who cannot connect for some reason when the guy doesn't speak their language. I don't care, you know, but
absolutely. Ichiro and Nakamura, I mean, both those guys are beasts. All right, that's good for UFC. I guess the last question I would ask. Yeah,
we missed the last fight, dude.
I did.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Amanda against.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I don't care about this fight. No, but in all seriousness, yeah, good pick by you, Talita Alencar.
I don't know.
I don't think she won the fight. I thought how is it Hayani? That's how you pronounce it.
I think it's Hayani. Yeah.
Well, not Hayani Barcel, it's Hayani Amanda. I thought she won the fight, and she this fight had very little control time, and the significant strikes were heavily in her favor. So I thought she won, but
I
didn't care.
I think she fucked herself, in this fight. You know what I mean?
How do you do that? Like, how do you do that? Tell me how you do that, Marcel.
No, I mean, the first round was clearly for her, right? The first round was clearly for her. The second round was clearly for Alencar, in my opinion. And the third round, there was not a lot going, and I think Rayani still had the most impactful punches. The thing was, Alencar was coming forward, you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of judges look at for some reason, because it looks more offensive when you come forward than when you move backward and you land punches. So, in my opinion, if you ask me, I think 1 and 3 should have been Amanda's. But yeah, that's why I said she pretty much fucked herself here, and the way she fought. It's the same with what's that fight again? I think Angela Hill against Michelle Watterson. I think Hill did well, and she was also walking backwards in the 5th round. Watterson was walking forwards, didn't land a lot, but walking forwards, and it's like, for some reason, visually for the judges, it's more appealing to give a round to somebody who's walking forward than walking backward. And it's not always the case, If you look at technically fighting, I think Amanda should have won 1 and 3, But yeah, I mean, but I agree with you, man. It wasn't that much of a spectacular fight. And let's talk about Laura Sanko saying other promotion, man. I mean, what the hell?
Bizarre, right?
Yeah, it's like
Victor had to deal with the UFC. They always get the fighters from there. Like, I was a little surprised by that. Are they not on Fight Pass anymore, or is
no? They're not on Fight Pass anymore. Maybe that's why. But still, it sounds like really, like, how do you say that? Really petty, in my opinion.
It does. I don't watch Victor anymore. It is kind of bizarre though, because obviously Laura fought for Victor. Yeah.
It's actually she does the cage interviews. Remember? So
yeah, that was a little bizarre, but whatever. Okay. Out of 10, what would you give the cards?
1 to 10, 6.5.
Yeah, I'd say 7. I mean, it was definitely watchable, but yeah, there was a few fights in the beginning. Maybe 6.5 is a better score. I don't know, but there was a couple of those fights, like the Santos fight and the Alencar fight, were not great. I don't know, and the main event was not that great, but there were some good finishes though, man. There was the highest stock rising, I would say, on this card. There's a couple guys. I think Steve Garcia for sure. Obviously, Khalil, Jusei, Hack Paras. There's a lot of guys. I think that their stocks went up. Stocks down. Jungyoung Park, right? Has to be, right?
Yeah. And
Chris Gutierrez too. But Jungyoung Park, I think, because like, for instance, like Anthony Smith, like I kind of expect him to lose. Sue expected to lose. Chandler, all these guys. Actually, Costa's another guy. Costa looked bad, I thought, Marcel. Your boy Costa.
Also, why was this card so late, man? Do you have any idea?
Bro, I don't know, but I was getting a little tired. Like, actually, was there a post-fight interview with Dana, or no? Like the media?
I haven't even seen it. I was typing still, so I wasn't paying attention. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I went to bed not long after the show, the card finished. I was tired.
I went to bed 8 a.m. local time here, so yeah.
I love this comment from Zach. Laura fought and even did commentary in the other organization. Yeah. No, it was very bizarre. I don't know. Someone must have been in their earpiece saying, "Shh, don't say Invicta. You're not allowed to say," because it's like Bellator, right? They just say, like, with Michael Chandler, like he was a champion in another organization or something, right? I don't think they've ever. Have they said
one time. I think Annick said one time Bellator.
He said Bellator? Well, he used to work for them. Actually, there you go. He worked for them.
And Buffer also said Bellator one time, I think.
He did?
Yeah. But it's like well, why be those organizations? And it's not just the UFC. I think it's mostly the UFC.
Yeah.
Dude, also when they, for example, when they said a couple of years ago when somebody was a champion in Bellator, for example, I think Volkov was a champion in Bellator, right? He had a belt in a different what did they say? How do you say that? In a regional organization. I was like, come on, man.
That's funny. For sure. All right, let's just skip over to PFL quickly. I didn't really watch the card. I do know my girl Dakota Ditcheva won her fight, which is good. I thought Simeon Powell lost his fight though. That's kind of a surprise. I thought Brett Johns won, Tom Breeze won, both the Nate Kelly guys won. I don't know. Did you check it out? Did you watch?
I didn't have the time for it, man. Unfortunately, I know the outcomes. I saw some of the highlights on Twitter, and I saw the stare down or the thing between Doumbé and MVP. But
is that official?
No, it's not official. They said the fight is trying to be getting in the works or whatever,
I mean, it's a great fight though, right?
Yeah, but I gotta say something, man. I mean, people are like, oh, the UFC shit the bed with MVP. Guys, the dude is 37. I know a lot of people are fan of his, of his style. He'll never be a champion in the UFC, man. I mean, it's not like they let him walk some hot super prospect like they did with Patchy Mix, for example, I don't really get why people are so upset about the UFC might not getting MVP. I don't give a shit, to be really honest.
Yeah, but I agree. I'm just seeing the comments. What did Orbit say? What did he say?
I don't know, guys. You got to update us here because we're not on our phone right now.
I'm just checking his tweet. I don't see anything. Maybe I'm wrong. By the way, I heard some guy was talking shit to Chris Gutierrez in the crowd. I don't know. Yeah. Like you do pay for a ticket, but like be a little respectful of these guys. It's one-on-one combat, man. It's not an easy job, Like just don't be as I always say, Marcel, don't be a dickhead, right? So, anyways, you're saying it's the fake count. Okay, I think we're good here, Marcel. We're good. We're gonna switch gears, guys, to UFC 296. Give me a minute. I'm gonna tweet out the new podcast. And we're gonna preview UFC 296. Can't wait for that. So give me a second here. We'll tweet it out and we'll get going. So give me 1 sec, guys, and talk to you very shortly.